Today's gospel reading is John 9, 1 through 12. Jesus heals the one born blind. As Jesus passed by, he saw a person blind from birth. And the disciples asked Jesus, "Rabbi, who sinned, this person or the parents, that the child was born blind?" Jesus answered, "It was not that this person sinned or the parents, but that the works of God might be made manifest. We must work the works of the one who sent us. While it is day, night comes when no one can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world." And Jesus said this, and as he said this, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle and anointed with the clay the eyes of the person who was blind, saying, "Go wash in the pool of Siloam," which means sent. So the person who was blind went and washed and came back seeing. The neighbors and those who had seen that the person before as a beggar said, "Is not this the one who used to sit and beg?" Some said, "It is the one." Others said, "No, but they look alike." The one born blind said, "I am that person." Then they said, "How then were your eyes opened?" The answer came, "The one called Jesus made clay and anointed my eyes and said to me, 'Go to Siloam and wash.' So I went and I washed and I received my sight." They asked, "Where is he?" The one born blind said, "I do not know." May God add understanding to this reading of the gospel.
God, I ask that you anoint my lips, anoint my heart. Let what I say be your words, not my own. Give me the strength and the courage to deliver your word to your people here this day. Amen. I told Roy early in the week that the sermon title was something that I wanted to use, but I didn't think I should put it in print. When I told him, he said, "Oh, let me go put it in bulletin." I did not see that coming. Today's gospel lesson from John tells us of the story about the man that was blind from birth. This is the only account of a person in the Gospels having an affliction at the moment of birth. It's the only time in the Gospels that that's recorded. For hundreds of years now, great philosophers and theologians alike have debated what this meant. Whose sin created the blindness in this man? Was it the sin of the unborn child, or was it the sin of the parents? When did the sin manifest itself in the blind child? Was this blindness placed upon the child while in the uterus? Or was this sin placed upon him coming through the birth canal? In this passage from John, we are given two great eternal principles. Jesus does not try to follow out or to explain the connection of sin and suffering. John says that this man's affliction came to him to give an opportunity of showing what God can do. For John, the miracles are always a sign of the glory and the power of God. The writers of the other Gospels had a different point of view and regarded them as a demonstration of the compassion of Jesus. When Jesus looked at the hungry crowd, he had compassion on them because they were as sheep not having a shepherd. When the leper came with his desperate request for cleansing, Jesus was moved with compassion. It is often argued that in this fourth gospel, it is quite different from the others. There is no real contradiction here between John and the other gospels. It is simply two ways of looking at the same thing. At its heart, it is a supreme truth that the glory of God lies in God's compassion, and that God fully reveals God's glory in what he reveals and when God reveals God's pity. For me, it sounds as if the other three Gospels tell of a God that when moved to compassion, God will show God's pity, work a miracle, and the matter is settled. But there is another sense in which the blind man's suffering shows what God can do. Affliction, sorrow, pain, disappointment, and loss are always opportunities for displaying God's grace. It enables the sufferer to know God in action. When trouble and disaster fall upon a person that does not have a belief in something greater than they are more likely to collapse. But when they fall on a person who walks with God, they bring out the strength and the beauty and the endurance and the nobility which are within a person's heart. And God is there. A few weeks ago, I spoke to you about a mini-series we watched called When We Rise. In that series, the main character, Cleve Jones, was tired of all the activism and felt he was finished with his work to bring justice to the world stage. At this time, a young man came to interview him and asked questions about what it was like to be such an activist. Cleve, being a snarky drama queen that he was, looked the young man in the face and asked, "What is it like to be part of a generation that has nothing to fight for or feel compassion about?" The young man returned a short time later and explained that he was part of a movement to make marriage equality the law of the land. Cleve resisted the temptation of getting involved. Then he had one of those moments of, "Wow, I did not see that coming." What this is telling us is that we must always be mindful of the time that we have to make known to all people the majesty and the power of God. There is no more poignant sorrow than the tragic discovery that it is too late to do something which we might have been able to have done. As the gospel tells us, when the spittle is applied to the eyes and we wash in the pool of Siloam, then we are sent. We are sent to do the will and the work of God. I believe that this is the very reason the Spirit of Peace is here today. There may be times that we wonder how a small group of people keep this church and the ministries going. I encourage you to think of the times that you were bonded to the gifts of justice and of peace that you have experienced. And then go to that pool of Siloam again and be sent forth to continue God's will. You have no right to keep it within yourself. Blindness is more than not being able to physically see with the senses of your eyes. It is also turning off your hearts to those who are still afflicted with sorrow, pain, disappointment, and loss. These are the moments that when we see them fully, we can say to ourselves again, "Wow, I did not see that coming." For those are the moments that we are called again, even in the year of 2017, to show the strength and the beauty and the endurance and the nobility which are within each person's heart. So on this Miracle Sunday, as we reach even deeper into our finances and our prayers for this church, let us remember that this is the very reason we are here. Spirit of Peace and each and every one of us have many callings. We may be the spittle that is applied to another person so that they may see. We may be the pool of Siloam where they go for cleansing. Or we may be the place that they come to be sent out to show the magnificence of our God. Or we may simply be the place where we gather and wait for the next, wow, I didn't see that coming moment. Last Saturday, Cheryl and Marla met Roy and I at the fire station in Farmington for a pancake breakfast. And a man that's been known in the community for a very long time, and he works at the Walmart in MLK, came over to us and chatted with us. A few weeks ago when we visited Steve at the Rehabilitation Center, we were in his room and looked across the hall and recognized this gentleman as a patient over there. It never dawned on me the importance of this. But that man looked at Cheryl and Marla and said, they even came to see me in the hospital. Wow, I didn't see that coming. But to know that made a difference for his day, for his recovery, for his strength to continue on. Or when you just happen to be at the right spot, at the right time, when someone is facing so much anguish and pain and devastation in their lives, and you simply look at them and smile, and all they can do is smile within their heart and think, thank God it wasn't another idiot to deal with. That's the wow moments in life. That is God manifesting God's beauty and endurance and magnificence and ability through you. And that is what we are called to do as a church. When you take a basket of food to a little old lady and hand her a 10-pound bag of potatoes and she cries because she hasn't had a real potato in years, that's a wow moment. When you meet David at 9 o'clock on a cold, frigid morning in November and take a bunch of socks and gloves and hats and scarves and underwear to the homeless shelter. And a man looks at you and says, I can help you if you need help. And we said, no, we've got it. And we took it in. And those people were excited to get something. That's a wow moment. That is putting the spittle into your own eye and going to the pool of Siloam and cleansing yourself from your own fears and anxieties and concerns and washing yourselves and availing yourselves to be sent by God to do the work that God has for each and every one of us. That's the miracle we pray for on this Miracle Sunday. It's not all about money. It's not all about the checkbook or the fame or the glory. It's not about the fact that I'm the priest one year. Don't laugh. It's about the fact that we are called to do God's will and we're willing to open our hearts and say, wow, I didn't see that coming. And we get up out of our chairs. And we go and do something. So I ask you to ask yourself each day, how will you respond to all of these wow moments which God will put before you? Amen.